Have you ever wondered why some people seem to make thoughtful, clear decisions, while others get tangled in self-doubt or impulsive choices? The difference often lies in a skill that isn't taught in most schools: critical thinking. Critical thinking isn't just about analyzing information. It's about questioning what we think we know, understanding the root of our beliefs, and making decisions that align with our true goals. This book, Thinking Differently: Tools for Critical Thinking Analysis and Personal Development, is designed to guide you on a journey to develop this skill step by step. With relatable examples, practical exercises, and an approachable style, this book will help you navigate personal and professional challenges with clarity. You'll learn how to identify biases, ask the right questions, and build mental resilience. So, if you're ready to sharpen your mind and make more empowered decisions, let's dive into the tools and insights that will help you think differently. Chapter 1: Foundations of a Rational Mind. Imagine walking through a forest. The trees and paths twist and turn, and while some trails are clear, others are barely visible. This forest represents your mind, and each path is a different way of thinking. Developing a rational mind is like learning to navigate this forest with purpose and clarity, making decisions based on thoughtful judgment rather than hunches or assumptions. In this first chapter, we'll explore what it means to build a foundation for rational thinking, a skill that can open doors to clearer judgment, more confidence, and a deeper understanding of yourself and the world around you. The foundation of a rational mind is rooted in two essential concepts: openness and curiosity. When we're open-minded, we allow ourselves to see beyond the limits of our assumptions. We've all experienced moments when we were certain of something, perhaps about a person's character or the outcome of a situation, only to realize later that our assumptions were misguided. Openness encourages us to let go of the need to be right, and instead to understand. This mental flexibility is essential for clear, rational thinking. Curiosity, on the other hand, fuels this openness. When we're genuinely curious, we're motivated to explore new ideas and perspectives. Curiosity isn't about reaching a specific answer. It's about asking questions that lead to deeper insight. Together, openness and curiosity create a solid foundation for rational thought by helping us see beyond our initial judgments and look at situations from various angles. Think of a time when you were sure of something that turned out to be different than you expected. Maybe it was a friend's decision that puzzled you, or perhaps it was an opportunity you initially dismissed. This happens to all of us. We often interpret situations based on what we know and feel, which is natural, but sometimes what we know is limited or even flawed. Imagine you're meeting a new colleague who seems reserved. If you assume they're unfriendly, you might miss out on discovering that they're actually shy. The ability to set aside initial judgments and explore other possibilities with an open, curious mind helps you approach people and situations more rationally, free from snap judgments and unconscious biases. Bias is one of the biggest barriers to rational thinking. We all have biases, shaped by our experiences, culture, and surroundings. These biases can be helpful, giving us quick ways to process information, but they can also blind us to reality. For example, confirmation bias, the tendency to notice information that supports our beliefs and ignore information that contradicts them, is common. Say you believe that someone is unreliable. You might unconsciously notice every instance when they're late or make a mistake, but overlook when they're on time or perform well. Recognizing biases like these is the first step toward a rational mind. By becoming aware of our biases, we learn to question them and see situations more objectively. Another key element of a rational mind is emotional balance. Emotions are powerful and essential. They guide our relationships, goals, and motivations. However, if we let them overpower our thoughts, they can cloud our judgment. Imagine receiving constructive feedback at work or from a friend. If your initial response is defensiveness or anger, it's hard to focus on the actual message. Rational thinking doesn't mean suppressing emotions. Instead, it involves acknowledging them without allowing them to dictate our thoughts and actions. When you can observe your emotions and decide how to respond, rather than react impulsively, you build resilience and clarity. This doesn't come naturally to most of us. but with practice, it's a skill anyone can develop. This emotional awareness forms a cornerstone of rational thinking, allowing you to think clearly, even in emotionally charged situations. Another element of rational thinking is patience. In our fast-paced world, there's often pressure to make quick decisions, but the best decisions are rarely made in a rush. Taking the time to analyze information, consider different perspectives, and reflect on potential outcomes enables you to make more thoughtful choices. Think of this as the difference between grabbing fast food when you're starving and taking the time to prepare a nutritious meal. Quick decisions might satisfy an immediate need, but thoughtful decisions nourish your long-term goals. Building a rational mind means giving yourself permission to take a step back, even when it feels counterintuitive, to ensure you're making choices that truly serve you. To help you apply these concepts, consider this exercise. The next time you feel certain about a judgment, perhaps about a person, a situation, or even a news story, pause and ask yourself, what if I'm wrong? This simple question opens the door to alternative perspectives and keeps you open-minded. Then take a moment to explore other possible explanations or outcomes. Ask yourself, what else could be true here? This doesn't mean doubting yourself constantly. Rather, it's a way of training your mind to remain flexible and open, laying a strong foundation for rational thinking. Reflect on the impact of adopting openness, curiosity, awareness of bias, emotional balance, and patience. Think about how these qualities could transform the way you approach decisions, relationships, and challenges. By practicing these skills, you're not only setting the stage for critical thinking, but also creating a mindset that empowers you to navigate life with clarity and confidence. The journey to a rational mind isn't about reaching an endpoint. It's a continuous path of self-awareness, curiosity, and growth. Chapter 2. Recognizing Patterns and Biases. Have you ever caught yourself making a decision or forming an opinion, only to wonder later why you did it? Often, our minds operate on autopilot, guided by invisible patterns and biases that shape our thoughts without us realizing it. In this chapter, we'll dive into the concept of mental patterns and biases, those unseen forces that influence our choices and perceptions. Learning to recognize these patterns is essential for building a rational, open-minded mindset. When you're aware of how biases work, you gain control over your thought process, which leads to more thoughtful and deliberate decisions. Our brains rely on patterns to navigate the world efficiently. Imagine you're driving to a familiar place, like work or a friend's house. Chances are you don't consciously think about each turn or stop. Instead, you follow a mental map that allows you to go through the motions without much thought. This autopilot mode can be helpful, saving mental energy for tasks that require active thinking. However, these mental shortcuts can also lead to errors when applied to decisions and judgments. Just as you might miss a new street sign on your usual route, you might overlook important details or alternative perspectives in life situations because of these ingrained mental shortcuts. One of the most common patterns our minds rely on is known as confirmation bias. This is the tendency to seek out and prioritize information that supports our existing beliefs while ignoring or discounting information that challenges them. For example, imagine you believe a certain coworker is unfriendly. Once this belief forms, you're more likely to notice times when they don't greet you or keep to themselves, reinforcing your judgment. Meanwhile, you may overlook moments when they engage in friendly conversation or offer help. Confirmation bias narrows your perception, leading you to view situations through a selective lens. Recognizing this bias helps you expand your perspective and approach situations with a more balanced, open mind. Another powerful pattern is the halo effect, which occurs when we make an overall impression of someone based on a single positive quality. Think of a person you admire. Perhaps they're highly skilled at their job or exceptionally charismatic. Because of this single trait, you might unconsciously assume they're also trustworthy, kind, or hardworking, even if there's no evidence to support these assumptions. This halo effect can distort our judgments and expectations, often leading us to overlook flaws or ignore potential red flags. Understanding the halo effect can help you see people more realistically and make fairer, more balanced assessments. A similar concept, the horn effect, works in the opposite way. This occurs when a single negative trait colors our perception of someone in an overly negative light. If a person makes one mistake or comes across as aloof, we might view them as unreliable or cold. Even if they have numerous positive qualities, like the halo effect, the horn effect limits our ability to see the whole picture, causing us to make unfair judgments based on incomplete information. Recognizing both the halo and horn effects in your own thinking can open the door to a more objective, compassionate view of others. Familiarizing yourself with these biases allows you to approach situations with more awareness. Imagine you're hiring a new team member. If you're aware of confirmation bias, you might intentionally seek input from others to ensure you're not overlooking important aspects of a candidate's skills or personality. If you're mindful of the halo and horn effects, you're more likely to evaluate each candidate's strengths and weaknesses fairly, rather than forming an impression based on one standout trait. By understanding and questioning these biases, you gain the ability to assess people, situations, and decisions more accurately. Our tendency to fall into patterns and biases isn't limited to how we view people. It also influences how we perceive events and situations. For example, when something unexpected happens, we may engage in attribution bias, which is the tendency to assign reasons for behavior based on limited information. If someone cuts you off in traffic, you might instantly think they're rude or reckless. However, they might be rushing due to an emergency or simply made an unintentional mistake. Attribution bias can lead us to misunderstand others' actions and jump to conclusions that aren't necessarily fair. Practicing awareness of this bias can help you approach situations with greater empathy and understanding, reducing the tendency to react impulsively or harshly. Another bias that often shapes our view of the world is availability bias. This is when we judge the likelihood of an event based on how easily examples come to mind. If you hear frequent news stories about airplane accidents, for instance, you might overestimate the danger of flying, even though it's statistically one of the safest ways to travel. Availability bias can lead us to make decisions based on vivid memories or recent experiences, rather than on an accurate assessment of risks and probabilities. Recognizing availability bias helps you make decisions based on a more objective, reality-based perspective. Understanding these patterns is just the first step. The real value lies in actively challenging them. One effective way to reduce bias is to practice perspective taking, making a conscious effort to look at situations from different viewpoints. For instance, if you're dealing with a challenging family member or colleague, try considering their actions and motives from a compassionate standpoint. Ask yourself what pressures or experiences might be influencing their behavior. This doesn't mean you have to agree with or excuse their actions, but it helps you approach the situation with greater empathy and openness, reducing the impact of personal biases. Another useful practice is self-questioning, where you pause to examine your initial thoughts and judgments. If you notice yourself forming a strong opinion, ask yourself questions like, what evidence do I have to support this belief? Or, am I overlooking other perspectives? Self-questioning creates a mental checkpoint, encouraging you to slow down and consider whether your biases might be affecting your judgment. By making this a habit, you develop a more flexible, open-minded approach to thinking, which allows you to see situations in a fuller, more balanced light. To put these ideas into practice, here's an exercise to try over the next few days. Whenever you form a strong opinion, whether it's about a person, a situation, or an event, pause and ask yourself, what assumptions am I making here? Try to identify any biases that might be influencing your thoughts, such as confirmation bias, the halo effect, or availability bias. Then, challenge yourself to consider alternative explanations or perspectives. You might find that your initial impression shifts or expands, giving you a deeper understanding of the situation. This exercise helps you train your mind to recognize patterns and biases, opening up a pathway toward more rational, thoughtful decision-making. Recognizing patterns and biases isn't about erasing them completely. It's about being aware of their presence and their potential impact on our decisions. By learning to identify and question these mental shortcuts, you take the first step toward a more objective and insightful mindset. As you continue this journey, you'll find that each new layer of awareness empowers you to make choices that are better aligned with your values, goals, and the reality of the world around you. Through patience, openness, and self-reflection, you're not only refining your thinking, but also cultivating a more compassionate, understanding outlook on life. Chapter 3. Questioning Assumptions. How often do you pause to ask yourself, is this really true? Or what if I'm mistaken? Assumptions are mental shortcuts we take, filling in gaps in our knowledge based on past experiences or preconceived beliefs. They're often so automatic that we don't even realize we're making them, yet they shape our thoughts, actions, and relationships in powerful ways. In this chapter, we'll explore the art of questioning assumptions, challenging what we take for granted to uncover a broader, more accurate perspective on situations. This skill not only deepens our understanding, but also empowers us to make decisions that truly align with our values and goals. Assumptions are everywhere. They help us navigate the world by providing a quick way to interpret what we see and hear. Imagine walking into a cafe where someone is sitting alone, typing intently on their laptop. You might assume they're busy with work or a personal project without any real evidence to support it. These small assumptions often go unnoticed, but when left unchecked, they can limit our understanding and even strain our relationships. Suppose you assume a friend is ignoring you because they didn't respond to a message. If this assumption isn't true, you might end up feeling hurt or annoyed over a misunderstanding. Questioning our assumptions, even those that seem minor, opens the door to seeing people and situations more clearly and with greater empathy. A common area where assumptions often come into play is in communication. Misunderstandings frequently arise because we assume we know what others are thinking or feeling. For example, imagine a colleague passes you in the hallway without saying hello. It's easy to assume they're upset or unfriendly, but there could be countless reasons for their behavior. They might be preoccupied, stressed, or simply distracted. By questioning the assumption that their silence has something to do with you, you avoid potential frustration or resentment. This practice of questioning prevents us from jumping to conclusions, giving us the freedom to interpret situations with a fresh, open perspective. Assumptions also heavily influence our self-perception. We often develop beliefs about our capabilities, worth, and limitations based on past experiences or comments from others. For instance, someone who was criticized for their public speaking as a child might assume they're just not good at it, even as an adult. This assumption can hold them back from opportunities to grow and succeed. By questioning these self-limiting beliefs, we open up new possibilities for ourselves. Challenging the assumption of, "I'm not good at public speaking," could lead to trying a supportive speaking class or simply practicing in smaller, comfortable settings. Over time, we often find that what we assumed about ourselves was far from the truth. Cultural and societal assumptions also shape how we view ourselves and others. Consider how ideas about success, beauty, or intelligence vary from one culture to another. These societal assumptions can create unnecessary pressure or limit our sense of self-worth. If we assume that success looks a certain way, perhaps tied to a specific career, income, or lifestyle, we may overlook the value of our unique skills and contributions. Questioning these broader assumptions helps us clarify our own values and goals, allowing us to define success, happiness, or fulfillment on our terms rather than by someone else's standards. The workplace is another environment where assumptions can heavily influence our perceptions and decisions. Suppose you're in a meeting and a colleague makes a suggestion that seems impractical or unfamiliar. It's easy to assume their idea won't work because it doesn't align with what you're used to. However, if you take a moment to question that assumption, you might find that their perspective brings valuable insights. By challenging assumptions in professional settings, we open ourselves to collaboration, innovation, and understanding, which can lead to more effective teamwork and problem-solving. One of the most common assumptions we make involves time and the future. We often assume that we'll have more time to pursue our passions, fix relationships, or take risks someday. This assumption that we have an endless supply of time can lead to procrastination and regret. Imagine a person who assumes they'll eventually write that novel, only to realize years later that they never made it a priority. Questioning this assumption might prompt a fresh look at our schedules, allowing us to create space for what truly matters now, rather than waiting for the perfect time that may never come. Challenging assumptions is a practice that builds awareness and flexibility. One way to begin is by noticing areas of your life where you feel frustrated, uncertain, or stuck. Often, these feelings signal the presence of unexamined assumptions. For example, if you're feeling undervalued at work, you might assume that others don't appreciate your contributions. But by questioning this assumption, you may discover opportunities to communicate more openly with your colleagues or ask for feedback that reinforces your sense of value. This approach not only helps to clarify misunderstandings, but also encourages a proactive, empowered attitude toward your personal and professional growth. Assumptions are so embedded in our thought processes that challenging them may feel uncomfortable or even unnatural at first. However, with practice, this approach becomes a powerful tool for self-awareness and growth. Imagine a person who consistently avoids trying new things because they assume they'll fail. By questioning that assumption, they can gradually begin to explore new activities, learning from each experience rather than avoiding it out of fear. Each step toward challenging these beliefs broadens their view of what's possible, helping them discover hidden strengths and interests. To put this concept into action, here's an exercise for the week ahead. Think of a recent situation where you made an assumption, perhaps about someone's behavior, a decision you were considering, or even a belief you hold about yourself. Write down the assumption, then ask yourself, what if I'm wrong? And what other explanations or possibilities could there be? Explore each alternative perspective, allowing yourself to see the situation from multiple angles. You may find that this simple practice of questioning reveals insights or opens doors you hadn't considered before. Finally, consider how questioning assumptions can improve your relationships. The next time you find yourself feeling hurt or frustrated with someone, pause and ask yourself what assumptions you're making about their intentions or feelings. By replacing assumptions with curiosity, you create space for open communication, compassion, and understanding. This approach not only reduces unnecessary conflict, but also strengthens your connections with others by fostering a mindset of empathy and openness. In questioning assumptions, you're embracing a mindset of curiosity, flexibility, and awareness. Each time you challenge an assumption, you expand your capacity to see the world more clearly and compassionately. This process takes courage and patience, but the rewards are profound. Greater self-understanding, enriched relationships, and a life guided by choices that are thoughtful and true to your values. As you continue on this journey, remember that assumptions are not facts. They're just starting points. By questioning them, you're free to create a mindset that's open to possibility, growth, and deeper insight. Chapter 4. Building Analytical Skills. Have you ever faced a decision and felt overwhelmed by all the details, unsure of how to make sense of it all? Analytical skills are tools that help you break down complex situations, examine details, and understand how they fit together. These skills empower you to think with clarity and purpose, giving you the confidence to make informed, effective choices. In this chapter, we'll explore the basics of analytical thinking, how to apply it in everyday situations, and ways to strengthen this invaluable skill. By the end, you'll be able to see situations with fresh insight, making decisions that align with your goals and values. At its core, analytical thinking is about looking beyond the surface of a problem to understand its components. Imagine a puzzle. Each piece on its own doesn't tell the whole story, but by examining each piece and how they fit together, you gradually reveal the complete picture. Analytical skills are similar. When you analyze something, you're breaking it down into parts, looking at each piece carefully, and seeing how they connect. This process helps you avoid snap judgments and reach more thoughtful, accurate conclusions. Whether it's deciding on a career move, planning a project, or resolving a personal conflict, analytical thinking gives you the framework to navigate complex issues with confidence and clarity. One of the first steps in building analytical skills is learning to separate facts from opinions. In many situations, facts and opinions can get tangled, leading to confusion and misunderstandings. For example, if someone says this restaurant has the best food, they're sharing an opinion. It's subjective, based on their tastes. A fact, on the other hand, might be, this restaurant has won awards for its cuisine, which can be verified. Separating facts from opinions helps you ground your thinking in reality, giving you a solid foundation for making decisions. By focusing on facts first, you're able to assess a situation objectively before considering personal biases or preferences. Another key aspect of analytical thinking is recognizing patterns. Our brains naturally look for patterns, often helping us to spot trends or make predictions. For instance, if you're analyzing your monthly expenses and notice that your spending spikes every weekend, you've identified a pattern that can help you understand your habits better. Patterns can reveal insights into behaviors, processes, and outcomes, helping you make adjustments or improvements. In the workplace, for example, recognizing a pattern in customer complaints can help a business address recurring issues, improving customer satisfaction. By training yourself to look for patterns, you gain a tool for anticipating challenges, understanding dynamics, and identifying opportunities. Critical to analytical thinking is also the skill of questioning. Asking the right questions can lead you to the root of a problem, bringing clarity and focus. Let's say you're faced with a decision about a job offer in a new city. Rather than simply asking, "Should I take the job?" you might break it down into smaller questions like, how will this move affect my career goals? What's the cost of living in that city? And will I have a support system there? These questions reveal essential details, giving you a more complete picture to work from. By refining your questioning skills, you learn to gather relevant information and challenge assumptions, leading to more insightful and balanced conclusions. Real-life examples can highlight the impact of analytical thinking in action. Imagine you're managing a project at work, and the deadline is approaching, but several tasks are behind schedule. Without analytical skills, it would be easy to feel stressed or assign blame. However, if you analyze the situation, you might identify that specific tasks are delayed due to unclear instructions or a shortage of resources. By pinpointing the root causes, you can take targeted steps to get the project back on track, perhaps by clarifying responsibilities or allocating additional resources. Analytical thinking transforms what might initially feel like a chaotic situation into a series of manageable actions, helping you find practical solutions and stay focused on achieving your goal. To enhance your analytical thinking, consider practicing a skill known as chunking. Chunking involves grouping information into smaller, more digestible parts, making it easier to analyze and understand. Let's say you're planning a personal project, like organizing an event. Rather than viewing it as one massive task, break it into smaller sections, such as venue, guest list, budget, and schedule. Each chunk represents an area you can analyze separately, allowing you to address one piece at a time. Chunking helps reduce overwhelm, enabling you to focus on details without losing sight of the big picture. With practice, chunking becomes a habit that can help you approach complex situations calmly and systematically. Another technique that supports analytical thinking is perspective taking. When you look at a situation from different angles, you often uncover insights you might have missed otherwise. Imagine you're planning a new business venture and trying to predict its success. By looking at the idea from multiple perspectives, such as a potential customer, investor, or employee, you gain a well-rounded view. Each perspective may reveal unique challenges or opportunities, helping you make a more informed decision. Perspective taking helps you avoid blind spots, giving you a more complete understanding and increasing the chances of success. Finally, practice organizing information clearly, whether on paper or mentally. If you're tackling a large decision or a complex problem, write down the relevant information. Create a pros and cons list, draw a diagram, or make a timeline. Organizing information visually or in structured formats helps you see relationships between different parts, making analysis easier. Imagine planning a move to a new city. By listing factors such as job market, cost of living, lifestyle, and family considerations, you're able to weigh each factor's importance and how it fits into the larger decision. This approach reduces confusion and provides a clear pathway to a well-thought-out conclusion. To bring these ideas into your daily life, here's an exercise you can try. Pick a decision or problem you're facing right now and write down all the details surrounding it. Start by listing the facts, keeping opinions and assumptions separate. Next, break down the problem into smaller parts or questions, looking for any patterns or recurring themes. Finally, consider the situation from at least one other perspective. This could mean imagining how a mentor, family member, or friend would view it. By completing these steps, you'll gain a more comprehensive understanding of the situation, helping you make a decision with confidence and clarity. As you practice these analytical skills, remember that this isn't about eliminating emotions or being overly rational. Instead, it's about learning to view situations with depth and balance, empowering you to make choices that align with your values and objectives. Analytical thinking is a skill that grows with practice, and with each effort, you strengthen your ability to navigate life's challenges thoughtfully and purposefully. Over time, these skills become second nature, equipping you with the tools you need to face decisions and problems with poise and precision. In developing your analytical skills, you're investing in a mindset that values clarity, objectivity, and purpose. This approach doesn't just apply to big decisions. It's a habit you can apply to any situation, no matter how small. Whether you're deciding on a career path, solving a work challenge, or planning a personal project, analytical thinking provides a framework that helps you see beyond the surface, consider all angles, and reach a choice that reflects your true intentions. Embrace this journey with patience and curiosity, and watch as your capacity for clear, confident decision-making expands. Chapter 5. Evaluating Evidence and Sources. Have you ever found yourself believing a story or fact you later learned wasn't true? In today's world, where information flows from countless sources at lightning speed, knowing how to evaluate evidence and assess credibility has become a crucial skill. Our judgments, decisions, and beliefs often rely on the information we gather, so it's essential to be able to distinguish reliable information from misleading or biased content. This chapter will guide you through the process of evaluating evidence and sources, helping you build the confidence to make informed, accurate decisions that stand on a solid foundation of truth. Evaluating evidence starts with understanding what makes information reliable. At its core, reliable information is accurate, relevant, and unbiased. These qualities help ensure that the information reflects reality, rather than a skewed or incomplete view. For example, let's say you're researching health advice about exercise routines. If you come across a blog post promoting a specific workout product, it's worth asking if the information might be biased by a desire to sell that product. Comparing it with recommendations from scientific studies or reputable health organizations gives you a broader and more accurate perspective. By developing this awareness, you learn to approach information critically, avoiding potential pitfalls and misconceptions. One key element of evaluating evidence is checking the source's credibility. Not all sources are created equal. Some are backed by rigorous research, peer reviews, or years of experience, while others may lack accountability or even contain deliberate misinformation. For example, a news article from a reputable newspaper with a history of journalistic integrity carries a different weight than an article from an unknown website with no clear authorship or credentials. A trustworthy source often includes evidence of the author's expertise, such as relevant qualifications, affiliations, or citations. When you examine these aspects, you're better equipped to assess whether the information comes from a knowledgeable, credible source or not. Another important aspect of evaluating evidence is recognizing potential biases. Everyone, even experts, has perspectives shaped by experiences, culture, or affiliations, and these biases can influence how information is presented. Imagine reading a product review. If the reviewer is connected to the company, their opinions may be subtly biased, consciously or unconsciously, to favor the product. By understanding this, you can approach their review with a critical eye, seeking additional perspectives or independent sources. This awareness of bias doesn't mean you should dismiss information entirely. Rather, it enables you to weigh it thoughtfully, considering potential motives or influences that may color the facts. When gathering information, it's also important to consider the evidence's quality and relevance. Not all evidence is equally strong or applicable to every situation. For instance, if you're trying to decide whether a particular diet works, an anecdote from one person who had success might be interesting, but it's not solid evidence. Scientific studies with large sample sizes and controlled variables provide much stronger support. By focusing on quality evidence, you're basing your decisions on the most reliable information available rather than on isolated cases or weak data. This approach empowers you to make decisions with confidence, knowing they're grounded in robust evidence. Real-life examples can further highlight the importance of evaluating evidence and sources. Consider the example of financial advice. Let's say you're researching investment options, and you come across a blog post from someone claiming a specific stock is guaranteed to double in value within a year. Before acting on this advice, you'd want to evaluate the source. Is the author a reputable financial advisor, or is it simply an anonymous blog post with no clear backing? You'd also want to look for additional independent sources to confirm the claim. Financial decisions carry risks, and by evaluating the credibility and reliability of sources, you're protecting yourself from potential losses caused by misinformation. Understanding the context in which information was produced is another critical step in evaluating evidence. Sometimes information may be accurate in one setting, but not applicable in another. For instance, a study on effective teaching methods conducted in a specific country may not apply universally due to cultural or educational differences. Recognizing this helps you avoid overgeneralizing, allowing you to interpret information within its relevant context. By doing so, you're able to use evidence more effectively, adapting it to suit your unique circumstances, while avoiding misinterpretation or overreach. Another practical tool for evaluating evidence is to look from multiple perspectives. A single source, no matter how credible, may offer only one angle. Gathering information from several reputable sources can provide a fuller picture, revealing different facets of the topic. For example, if you're researching climate change, you might consult studies, reports from environmental organizations, and perspectives from affected communities. By doing this, you're exposed to a range of evidence and viewpoints, helping you develop a balanced, informed understanding. This approach not only strengthens your grasp of the issue, but also reinforces your ability to make well-rounded objective decisions. Knowing how to identify logical fallacies is also invaluable when evaluating evidence. Logical fallacies are flaws in reasoning that can mislead or manipulate. For example, if an article argues that because many people believe something, it must be true, this is an appeal to popularity, a common fallacy. Just because something is widely believed doesn't make it accurate. Recognizing fallacies like these helps you sift through arguments more effectively, focusing on evidence rather than on misleading logic. This skill is particularly useful when evaluating persuasive or controversial topics, where fallacies may be used to sway opinions. To strengthen these skills in your own life, here's a practical exercise you can try. Choose a topic you're interested in, whether it's health, finance, technology, or any area you're curious about, and gather information from a few different sources. Start by evaluating each source's credibility, considering aspects like the author's expertise, potential biases, and any supporting evidence they provide. Next, look at the quality and relevance of the evidence each source presents. Ask yourself, does this evidence genuinely support the claims being made? Is it applicable to my situation? Finally, compare the perspectives across sources, identifying any contradictions or additional insights. This exercise helps you practice evaluating evidence and sources in a structured way, reinforcing your ability to make informed, grounded decisions. As you develop these skills, remember that evaluating evidence and sources isn't about becoming overly skeptical or distrusting all information. Rather, it's about learning to discern truth from opinion, fact from bias, and quality from weak evidence. This balanced, discerning approach allows you to engage with information confidently, making choices that are well-informed and aligned with your goals. In today's world, where information is abundant but not always reliable, the ability to evaluate evidence and sources is more valuable than ever. By practicing these skills, you're building a foundation for lifelong learning, critical thinking, and informed decision-making. As you continue on this journey, remember that the effort you put into evaluating information empowers you to make choices based on knowledge, insight, and understanding, rather than on impulse or assumption. This foundation doesn't just support better decisions, it fosters a mindset rooted in curiosity, respect for truth, and a commitment to personal growth. Chapter 6. Constructing Logical Arguments. Have you ever struggled to explain your viewpoint, only to find your message lost in misunderstandings? Crafting a logical argument is a skill that can help you communicate more clearly, making your ideas understandable and persuasive. This chapter will walk you through the foundations of constructing logical arguments, helping you express your thoughts in a way that connects with others. Whether you're making a case in a personal conversation or presenting ideas in a professional setting, learning to build logical arguments equips you to present your thoughts with confidence, clarity, and impact. A logical argument is more than simply stating an opinion. It's a structured way of expressing a point of view that's based on evidence and reasoning. At the heart of a logical argument lies a clear claim or statement you believe to be true, supported by evidence and reasoning that connects the dots for your audience. Imagine you're discussing with friends the benefits of a particular exercise routine. Instead of saying, "This routine is the best," you might say, "This routine is effective because it combines cardiovascular and strength exercises, which studies show improve fitness levels." By using evidence, the studies, and reasoning, explaining the combination of exercises, you turn a simple opinion into a persuasive, credible argument. An essential part of constructing logical arguments is ensuring that each claim is well supported. A claim without evidence is like a bridge without supports. It may collapse under scrutiny. Evidence gives your argument weight, making it more compelling and trustworthy. This evidence can take many forms, such as facts, statistics, examples, or expert opinions. For instance, if you're making an argument about the importance of sleep for mental health, citing research studies that demonstrate a connection between sleep quality and mental well-being strengthens your point. By grounding your claims in evidence, you create arguments that are not only more convincing but also harder to refute. Logical arguments also require clear and logical reasoning, which involves connecting your evidence to your claim in a way that makes sense. Let's say you're advocating for a policy change at work to allow flexible hours. Your claim might be, "Flexible hours improve productivity." Your evidence could include studies showing that employees with flexible schedules report higher productivity and satisfaction. The reasoning then connects these pieces. By providing flexibility, employees feel more in control, reducing stress and improving focus. This connection between claim, evidence, and reasoning forms the backbone of logical arguments, guiding your audience through your thought process step by step. To illustrate these concepts, consider an example involving a public debate on school uniforms. Imagine you're presenting an argument that uniforms improve the learning environment. Your claim is that school uniforms create a more focused educational setting. To support this, you provide evidence, such as studies showing reduced peer pressure and distractions in schools with uniform policies. Your reasoning might explain that by removing the focus on clothing, students can concentrate more on their studies. This structured approach, claim, evidence, and reasoning, helps you build a logical, persuasive case that engages and informs your audience. A common obstacle in constructing logical arguments is the presence of logical fallacies, which are flaws in reasoning that weaken your argument. Recognizing and avoiding these fallacies helps strengthen your arguments and prevents misunderstandings. One common fallacy is the ad hominem, where an argument attacks a person rather than addressing the point they're making. For example, if someone argues, "Your idea won't work because you've made mistakes before," they're not addressing the idea itself, but rather attacking the person's credibility. By focusing on the argument rather than the individual, you avoid this fallacy and keep the discussion constructive and respectful. Another frequent fallacy is the slippery slope, which suggests that one action will lead to a series of negative events without logical evidence connecting them. For instance, if someone argues, if we allow employees to work from home 1 day a week, they'll eventually want to work from home every day, and productivity will decline, they're making a slippery slope argument. Without evidence to support that progression, the claim lacks strength. Being aware of such fallacies allows you to construct arguments that are logical and grounded, rather than relying on assumptions or emotional appeals. An important aspect of constructing logical arguments is the art of listening and responding thoughtfully to counterarguments. When you anticipate objections and address them in your argument, you demonstrate respect for different viewpoints, which strengthens your case. Suppose you're arguing for a plant-based diet. You might anticipate the counter-argument that plant-based diets lack sufficient protein. By addressing this directly with evidence of protein-rich plant foods, you're not only strengthening your argument, but also showing an openness to dialogue. This approach enhances the credibility of your argument, making it more compelling and well-rounded. Logical arguments aren't just for formal debates. They're valuable in everyday life. Imagine discussing plans for a family vacation. If someone argues, we should go to the beach because it's relaxing, they're making a claim. To strengthen this, they could add evidence, such as research showing that being near water reduces stress. Their reasoning might connect the evidence to the claim by explaining that the beach offers a peaceful environment conducive to unwinding. This structured approach clarifies their point, making it easier for others to understand and agree. Logical arguments can transform everyday conversations, helping you express yourself clearly and respectfully. To build your skills in constructing logical arguments, try this exercise the next time you need to make a case for something, whether at work, home, or with friends. Start by identifying your main claim, the point you want to make. Then gather evidence to support this claim, looking for reliable facts, examples, or studies. Finally, think through your reasoning, making sure it clearly connects the evidence to your claim. If possible, anticipate 1 or 2 counter-arguments and prepare responses to them. Practicing this process strengthens your ability to build logical arguments that are persuasive, clear, and respectful. Constructing logical arguments is a skill that takes practice but offers immense rewards. By learning to communicate your ideas in a structured, thoughtful way, you improve your ability to connect with others, influence decisions, and contribute meaningfully to discussions. This skill encourages you to approach disagreements as opportunities for mutual understanding, fostering a mindset that values open, respectful dialogue. As you develop your skills in constructing logical arguments, remember that this isn't about winning debates or proving others wrong. It's about learning to express your thoughts in a way that others can understand and appreciate, even if they disagree. By grounding your arguments in evidence and reasoning, you build a foundation of trust and respect, empowering you to make your voice heard. Over time, this ability to communicate with clarity and purpose will enhance your relationships, build your confidence, and support your journey toward becoming a more thoughtful, empowered individual. Chapter 7. Emotional Intelligence Meets Rational Thought. Have you ever felt torn between what you feel and what you know is logical? This tug-of-war between emotions and rational thinking is something we all experience. Emotional intelligence, or EQ, is the ability to understand and manage our emotions, and when paired with rational thought, it creates a balanced approach to decision-making. In this chapter, we'll explore how emotional intelligence and rational thinking can complement each other, allowing you to make decisions that are both thoughtful and aligned with your feelings and values. By learning to balance emotion with reason, you can navigate personal and professional challenges with clarity and resilience. Emotional intelligence is built on 4 key skills: self-awareness, self-regulation, empathy, and social skills. Self-awareness allows us to recognize our emotions and understand how they influence our behavior. For example, if you feel frustrated after receiving critical feedback, self-awareness helps you identify that emotion and how it might affect your response. Instead of reacting defensively, recognizing your frustration allows you to take a moment to process it. Self-awareness forms the foundation for integrating emotional intelligence with rational thought because it gives you a clear view of what you're feeling and why, which is the first step in deciding how to respond. Self-regulation is the ability to manage your emotions in a way that aligns with your goals. Imagine you're leading a team meeting and a project isn't progressing as planned. You might feel disappointed or even irritated. However, rather than expressing these emotions impulsively, self-regulation allows you to maintain a calm demeanor, ensuring that your response is constructive. By choosing not to let frustration dictate your actions, you create a space for rational decision-making. Self-regulation doesn't mean suppressing emotions. It means choosing how and when to express them in a way that benefits the situation, keeping you focused and effective. Empathy, another component of emotional intelligence, enables us to understand others' emotions and perspectives. When combined with rational thought, empathy allows you to see issues from another person's point of view without being swayed by their emotions. For instance, imagine a colleague is feeling overwhelmed and asks for help on a project. Instead of immediately saying yes or no, empathy lets you consider their feelings, while rational thought helps you evaluate your own capacity. This balance allows you to make a compassionate yet practical choice, perhaps by offering limited assistance or helping them find other resources. Empathy strengthens relationships and collaboration by creating an environment of understanding and mutual respect. Social skills, the final pillar of emotional intelligence, include communication, conflict resolution, and relationship management. Effective social skills help you navigate interactions with others, building trust and rapport. When social skills are guided by both emotional intelligence and rational thought, you can communicate in ways that consider others' feelings while staying focused on solutions. Imagine you're working on a project and a teammate has made a mistake. Instead of simply pointing it out, you might use a more tactful approach, such as saying, "Let's review this section together to make sure we're on track." This approach encourages cooperation, showing respect for the other person's emotions while addressing the issue constructively. When you blend emotional intelligence with rational thought, you create a synergy that enhances decision-making. For instance, consider a situation where you receive a job offer. On one hand, the position aligns with your career goals, but on the other, it requires relocating, which might disrupt your family life. Rational thought allows you to weigh the pros and cons, considering factors like salary, benefits, and career growth. Emotional intelligence, however, helps you assess how the move might affect your relationships and personal well-being. By combining both, you can make a choice that honors both your personal values and your professional aspirations. One of the main benefits of integrating emotional intelligence with rational thought is the ability to make decisions that feel right. Emotions can sometimes highlight what truly matters to us, our relationships, goals, and passions. Rational thought, meanwhile, helps us consider the practical side, like long-term impact and feasibility. Imagine deciding whether to pursue a passion project, like writing a book or starting a side business. Emotionally, you might feel inspired and excited, but rational thought will help you consider the time, effort, and resources required. Together, these perspectives create a balanced view, allowing you to pursue your passion in a way that is both practical and meaningful. In the workplace, the combination of emotional intelligence and rational thinking can improve collaboration and leadership. Leaders with high emotional intelligence understand their team members' needs and motivations, creating an environment where people feel valued and respected. At the same time, rational thinking allows them to make strategic decisions that benefit the organization. For example, a leader may recognize an employee's potential for growth, empathy, and assign them to a challenging project, rational decision, providing a pathway for development while supporting the team's objectives. This blend of empathy and practicality not only strengthens teams but also fosters a culture of trust and accountability. In relationships, emotional intelligence and rational thought help you navigate complex dynamics with understanding and wisdom. Imagine a disagreement with a friend or partner. Emotional intelligence allows you to recognize both your feelings and theirs, creating space for empathy. Rational thought, however, keeps the conversation grounded, helping you stay focused on finding a solution rather than reacting impulsively. For instance, if you're upset because you feel your friend has been distant, instead of accusing them, you might express your feelings honestly and ask if there's something they'd like to share. This balanced approach respects both the emotional and logical aspects of the situation, leading to healthier, more meaningful connections. To start blending emotional intelligence with rational thought, here's a practical exercise. Think of a recent situation where you felt a strong emotional reaction, whether it was excitement, frustration, or worry. Reflect on that emotion and identify what triggered it. Next, consider what a logical response would have been, focusing on factors like long-term consequences and the impact on others. Finally, imagine a response that incorporates both emotion and logic, considering both what you felt and what made sense in the situation. Practicing this exercise regularly helps you build the habit of balancing emotional awareness with rational decision-making, empowering you to respond thoughtfully in various situations. Blending emotional intelligence with rational thought doesn't mean ignoring your feelings or being overly analytical. Instead, it's about using both as resources to guide your decisions. Emotions provide insight into what matters deeply to you, while rational thought offers the clarity and structure needed to act on those insights effectively. As you practice this skill, you'll find that your decisions align more closely with both your values and your goals, creating a sense of fulfillment and purpose. Developing this balance is an ongoing journey, but with each step, you gain a greater ability to handle life's challenges with resilience and grace. As you strengthen your emotional intelligence and rational thinking, remember that you're building a toolkit for thoughtful decision-making that empowers you in every area of life. Whether navigating career choices, personal relationships, or everyday interactions, this balanced approach helps you live with integrity, clarity, and compassion. Chapter 8. Seeing the Big Picture. Have you ever been so focused on a single detail that you missed the larger context? This is something we all experience, especially when tackling complex issues or facing personal challenges. Seeing the big picture is a powerful skill that allows you to step back, widen your perspective, and understand how individual pieces fit into a larger whole. By learning to see the big picture, you gain clarity, make wiser decisions, and avoid getting overwhelmed by small, isolated details. In this chapter, we'll explore the concept of seeing the big picture and how it can transform your approach to personal and professional challenges, helping you navigate life with a greater sense of purpose and direction. Seeing the big picture begins with taking a step back from the immediate situation. When you're deeply involved in a task or decision, it's easy to get caught up in specific details or challenges. Imagine planning a family event. You might spend hours debating food options or decorations only to lose sight of the event's purpose, bringing loved ones together. By stepping back and reminding yourself of this purpose, you can make decisions that support your ultimate goal, rather than getting lost in minor details. This ability to shift your focus from details to the larger context enables you to prioritize more effectively and stay aligned with your intentions. A big picture perspective also helps you understand how different elements relate to each other. Think of it like viewing a painting up close versus from a distance. Up close, you might only see individual brushstrokes, each unique in color and shape. But when you step back, you see how these strokes come together to create a coherent image. Similarly, in your own life, you might face various projects, responsibilities, and relationships that seem unrelated. However, by viewing them from a distance, you can see how they connect, revealing patterns or themes that might otherwise go unnoticed. This broader perspective helps you manage multiple priorities, make balanced decisions, and understand the underlying purpose that connects different areas of your life. An important aspect of seeing the big picture is recognizing the long-term impact of your choices. Many decisions offer immediate rewards, but these aren't always aligned with your ultimate goals. For example, consider a financial decision, like buying a new car. While the car may be appealing in the short term, a big picture view might remind you of other financial goals, such as saving for a house or investing in your education. This perspective doesn't mean you shouldn't enjoy immediate rewards, but it helps you weigh them against long-term goals, allowing you to make choices that support your future aspirations. Seeing the big picture is especially valuable in professional settings, where day-to-day demands can sometimes cloud the broader mission. Imagine you're working on a team project with a tight deadline. It's tempting to focus solely on getting the work done, but stepping back to consider the project's purpose might reveal opportunities to improve collaboration or create a more innovative outcome. When you understand how your work fits into the company's larger goals, you're more likely to find motivation, produce high-quality results, and make decisions that benefit not only the project, but also the organization as a whole. This perspective fosters a sense of connection and purpose in your work, transforming routine tasks into meaningful contributions. The big picture can also play a vital role in personal relationships. In times of conflict, it's easy to focus on who's right or wrong, losing sight of the relationship itself. Imagine a disagreement with a friend over a miscommunication. Focusing only on the details of the argument might lead to defensiveness and frustration. However, when you take a step back, you might remember that the friendship matters more than the conflict. This broader perspective helps you approach the situation with empathy and find a resolution that strengthens, rather than strains, the relationship. By focusing on the relationship's overall value, you're more likely to respond in a way that fosters understanding and connection. One way to cultivate a big-picture perspective is by practicing mindful reflection. Take time to periodically review your life as if you're looking at it from above. Imagine you're observing your life as a story, with each aspect, work, relationships, health, representing a different chapter. Ask yourself how each chapter contributes to the story's overall theme. For example, if career success is important to you, consider how each job or project has helped you grow toward that goal. Similarly, if personal growth is your focus, reflect on the lessons learned in each experience. This reflective practice helps you stay aligned with your core values and purpose, ensuring that your actions support the life you want to create. Developing the ability to see the big picture also involves accepting uncertainty and complexity. Life rarely follows a straight path, and unexpected challenges are inevitable. When you focus too narrowly on specific outcomes, setbacks can feel overwhelming. However, a big-picture mindset allows you to see challenges as part of a larger journey. Imagine you're training for a marathon and face an injury that disrupts your progress. Focusing only on the setback might discourage you, but a big-picture view can help you see this as a temporary pause rather than a defeat. You can adapt your training, focus on recovery, and return to your goal when the time is right. This mindset builds resilience, allowing you to face obstacles with patience and determination. To strengthen your big-picture thinking, consider using visualization techniques. Close your eyes and imagine where you want to be in 5, 10, or 20 years. Picture your ideal life, considering aspects like career, relationships, health, and personal growth. Visualizing your long-term goals helps clarify the steps you need to take today to bring that vision to life. By keeping this vision in mind, you're more likely to make daily choices that align with your ultimate purpose, guiding you toward a future that reflects your true values and aspirations. To put big-picture thinking into practice, try this exercise. Choose a decision or challenge you're currently facing and ask yourself how it fits into the larger context of your life goals. Write down your immediate thoughts and then expand your perspective by asking questions like, how does this decision align with my long-term goals? Will this matter in 5 or 10 years? And what other areas of my life might be affected by this choice? This exercise helps you see beyond immediate concerns, empowering you to make decisions that resonate with your overall vision. Seeing the big picture is about more than simply looking ahead. It's a mindset that brings balance, purpose, and resilience to every decision you make. By training yourself to look beyond short-term results, you're better equipped to make choices that support your growth, fulfillment, and happiness over time. As you develop this skill, you'll find it becomes easier to prioritize what truly matters, navigate challenges with confidence, and live a life that's connected to your deepest values. Remember, Seeing the big picture doesn't mean ignoring details. It means understanding how those details contribute to the larger vision. This perspective allows you to approach life with greater clarity, knowing that each step, no matter how small, plays a role in your journey. Embrace this approach and watch as your ability to navigate complex decisions and challenges grows, helping you create a life that's rich in purpose, meaning, and direction. Chapter 9. Mastering Decision-Making Skills. Have you ever felt paralyzed by a decision, unsure of which path to take? Making decisions can feel overwhelming, especially when the stakes are high. Mastering decision-making skills empowers you to approach choices with confidence, clarity, and a sense of purpose. This chapter explores the process of making effective decisions, providing tools and insights that help you weigh options, evaluate outcomes, and make choices that align with your goals and values. By understanding how to approach decisions thoughtfully, you gain control over your life's direction, navigating each choice with a steady hand. The foundation of strong decision-making is clarity. Before you can make a good decision, you need to be clear on what you want to achieve. Imagine you're considering a career change. The decision becomes simpler if you have a clear goal in mind, such as seeking more meaningful work, a better work-life balance, or greater financial stability. When your goal is clear, you can evaluate options based on how well they help you achieve that outcome. Clarity acts as a compass, guiding you through the decision-making process by keeping your focus on what truly matters. Once you have clarity, gathering information is the next essential step in decision-making. Information provides the foundation for understanding the potential outcomes of each option. For example, if you're deciding whether to buy a home, researching aspects like market trends, mortgage rates, and neighborhood amenities helps you understand what's feasible and beneficial. However, it's important to avoid information overload. Instead of trying to gather every possible piece of data, focus on the information that's most relevant to your goal. Knowing when you have enough information to make an informed choice is a skill that grows with practice and helps prevent analysis paralysis. Evaluating options is another critical component of decision-making. This step involves weighing the pros and cons of each choice, considering short-term benefits, long-term effects, and alignment with your values. Let's say you're debating whether to move to a new city for a job opportunity. The pros might include career growth and higher income, while the cons could involve leaving friends and family behind. By listing these factors, you create a visual representation of your options, making it easier to see which choice aligns best with your priorities. This process encourages thoughtful reflection, helping you make decisions that feel right for both your present and future. An essential aspect of decision-making is considering potential consequences. Every decision has ripple effects, some of which may be unexpected. For instance, choosing to work extra hours to advance your career might improve your finances, but could affect your time with loved ones. By considering these potential consequences, you're better prepared to make choices that balance your various needs. One way to approach this is to ask yourself, how will this decision impact other areas of my life? This question encourages you to think beyond the immediate benefits, ensuring that your choice supports a well-rounded, fulfilling life. Intuition also plays a valuable role in decision-making. While data and logic are essential, our instincts can provide insights that logic alone might miss. Intuition is often a result of accumulated experiences and patterns your mind recognizes subconsciously. Imagine you're deciding between two job offers. While one might look better on paper, you might feel a stronger, positive connection to the other. Trusting this feeling, especially if you've evaluated all other factors, can be an important part of your decision-making process. Using both intuition and logic creates a balanced approach, allowing you to make choices that feel right intellectually and emotionally. Real-life examples illustrate the power of balanced decision-making. Consider someone deciding whether to pursue higher education later in life. On one hand, they recognize the value of a degree for career advancement. However, they also know it will require a significant time and financial commitment. By evaluating their long-term goals, gathering information about program requirements, and trusting their intuition about the timing, they can make a choice that aligns with both their aspirations and current responsibilities. This approach to decision-making balances logic, emotion, and practicality, leading to a more confident and satisfying choice. It's also important to recognize that not all decisions are equally significant. Some choices, like choosing a restaurant for dinner, are low stakes, while others, such as career moves or financial investments, have a larger impact. Understanding the weight of a decision helps you allocate appropriate time and resources to the decision-making process. For smaller, everyday choices, you might rely more on intuition or habit, while for more significant decisions, a structured approach is often beneficial. By matching your decision-making approach to the importance of the choice, you use your energy wisely and avoid overthinking less critical decisions. Flexibility is another valuable trait in effective decision-making. Circumstances can change, and sometimes the best decision today may not be ideal tomorrow. Being willing to adapt allows you to respond to new information or shifts in your situation. For instance, if you initially decide to work part-time while building a business, but later find that the workload requires a different approach, being open to adjusting your decision keeps you aligned with your goals. Flexibility doesn't mean changing your mind on a whim. It means staying adaptable and responsive to changing circumstances, ensuring that each choice remains relevant to your current needs. A practical exercise to improve your decision-making skills involves setting aside a specific time for a decision you're currently facing. During this time, work through the decision step by step. Start by clarifying your goal, gathering relevant information, and listing the pros and cons. Consider potential consequences, trust your intuition, and reflect on how flexible you can be if circumstances change. By deliberately engaging with each step, you build a habit of thorough decision-making that can be applied to various areas of your life. This exercise helps you approach decisions with intention, ensuring that each choice is made with thoughtfulness and purpose. As you refine your decision-making skills, remember that every decision offers an opportunity for growth and learning. Even when a choice doesn't lead to the expected outcome, it provides valuable lessons that enhance your future decisions. Decision-making is not about always getting it right. It's about making the best choice with the information and resources available at the time. By embracing each decision as a learning experience, you build resilience, confidence, and a greater understanding of yourself. Mastering decision-making is a journey that requires patience, self-awareness, and practice. By approaching decisions with clarity, gathering relevant information, considering options thoughtfully, and trusting your intuition, you create a framework for choices that align with your values and goals. This skill empowers you to navigate life's uncertainties with a steady hand, knowing that each decision contributes to a fulfilling, purposeful life. Ultimately, decision-making is about more than choosing between options. It's about actively shaping the path you're on, one choice at a time. As you continue to develop these skills, you'll find that each decision becomes a stepping stone, guiding you closer to the life you envision. Embrace this process and allow each choice, big or small, to reflect the person you're becoming and the future you're creating. Chapter 10. The Path Forward, Sustaining a Rational Mind. As you reach this final chapter, take a moment to appreciate how far you've come. Building a rational mind is an ongoing journey, one that requires patience, reflection, and the willingness to grow. Sustaining a rational mindset isn't about perfection. It's about creating a mental framework that supports clear thinking, adaptability, and resilience. In this chapter, we'll explore strategies for maintaining and refining the skills you've developed, ensuring they become lasting parts of your life. By cultivating habits that support rational thought, you set yourself up for a lifetime of thoughtful, balanced decision-making. Sustaining a rational mind begins with self-reflection. Self-reflection allows you to look back on past experiences, decisions, and thought processes, giving you insight into what works well and what could be improved. Imagine you've just completed a challenging project at work. Reflecting on the process, Your initial approach, the obstacles you faced, and how you navigated them reveals valuable lessons. You might notice that clear communication and setting priorities made a difference, or that certain biases affected your approach. Regularly reflecting on both successes and setbacks deepens your understanding of your own thinking patterns, allowing you to make intentional adjustments over time. Creating routines that encourage rational thought is another powerful way to support a rational mind. Routines can serve as checkpoints, helping you ground yourself in clear thinking. For instance, you might start each day with a few minutes of mindfulness or a brief review of your daily goals. These routines encourage focus and clarity, making it easier to approach decisions with a balanced perspective. Similarly, setting aside time each week for reflection and planning can help you evaluate your priorities, ensuring your actions are aligned with your larger goals. Routines don't need to be rigid or time-consuming. They just need to provide a consistent foundation for rational thinking. Maintaining a rational mind also means continuing to challenge your assumptions. Over time, even well-developed habits of critical thinking can be affected by biases or routines that go unchecked. Take, for example, the assumption that working late always leads to higher productivity. By challenging this assumption, you may discover that rest and time away from work actually enhance your productivity, leading to more balanced and effective decision-making. Regularly questioning your own beliefs helps prevent stagnation, keeping your mind flexible and open to new insights. Another way to sustain rational thinking is to seek diverse perspectives. Surrounding yourself with people who bring different viewpoints broadens your understanding and challenges your thinking. Imagine you're considering a new approach to a project and seek feedback from colleagues with different areas of expertise. Their perspectives may reveal potential challenges or advantages you hadn't considered, helping you make a more informed choice. Engaging with a range of viewpoints encourages curiosity and humility, reminding you that there's always more to learn. By valuing diverse opinions, you reinforce the habit of open-minded thinking, which is central to a rational mind. Handling emotions is also key to maintaining a rational mindset. Emotions are natural and essential parts of life, but unchecked emotions can cloud judgment. Developing emotional awareness allows you to recognize when emotions are influencing your decisions. For example, if you're feeling frustrated during a conflict, acknowledging that emotion can help you pause and respond calmly instead of reacting impulsively. Practicing emotional awareness doesn't mean suppressing emotions. It means observing them and choosing how to act. Over time, this practice enhances your ability to make balanced decisions, even in emotionally charged situations. Real-life examples highlight the value of sustaining a rational mind. Consider someone navigating a major life transition, such as moving to a new city. They might feel both excitement and anxiety, emotions that could influence their decisions around job searches or housing choices. By reflecting on their goals, challenging assumptions about what they must accomplish immediately, and seeking advice from others, they create a balanced approach. This process helps them make choices that align with their long-term vision, rather than acting on immediate feelings or pressures. Sustaining a rational mind in this way enables thoughtful decisions, even in moments of change or uncertainty. Incorporating continuous learning into your life also strengthens rational thinking. The world is constantly changing, and staying informed about new ideas, technologies, or social developments keeps your mind active and adaptable. You might read books, attend seminars, or engage in discussions on topics that challenge your thinking. For example, learning about cognitive biases or new decision-making techniques can enhance your understanding of your own thought processes, enabling you to make even better choices. Lifelong learning encourages curiosity and adaptability, traits that support a rational, open-minded outlook. To put these ideas into practice, try a weekly reflection exercise. At the end of each week, take 10 to 15 minutes to reflect on any decisions, challenges, or notable experiences from the past few days. Ask yourself questions like, what did I learn? Were there moments when I felt biased or impulsive? And how did I handle unexpected challenges? Writing down your reflections helps solidify your insights, providing a record of your growth. Over time, this practice builds a habit of self-awareness, helping you identify patterns in your thinking and refine your approach to future decisions. Sustaining a rational mind is about embracing flexibility. Life rarely goes as planned, and unexpected challenges will arise. Adapting to these situations with a rational, balanced mindset allows you to respond rather than react. For instance, if a career opportunity doesn't work out, viewing it as a stepping stone rather than a setback helps you stay focused on long-term growth. Embracing flexibility means being willing to revise your plans when new information or circumstances emerge. This adaptability keeps you resilient, ensuring that your thinking remains relevant and effective in changing situations. As you continue on this journey, remember that sustaining a rational mind is a lifelong endeavor. It's not about avoiding mistakes or making perfect decisions. It's about approaching each choice with thoughtfulness, curiosity, and integrity. By nurturing these habits, you equip yourself to face life's complexities with confidence and resilience. Rational thinking doesn't mean removing emotions, opinions, or creativity from your life. It means integrating them in a way that supports thoughtful, intentional living. Ultimately, a rational mind is one that values growth, learning, and self-awareness. By practicing reflection, embracing diverse perspectives, handling emotions mindfully, and remaining open to new ideas, you lay a foundation for continued growth. This mindset serves as a compass, guiding you through life's twists and turns with a clear sense of purpose. As you sustain these practices, you'll find that each decision becomes an opportunity for growth, each experience a lesson, and each challenge a chance to strengthen your resilience. Remember, the journey of sustaining a rational mind is not a destination but an ongoing path of self-discovery and development. Embrace each step and let it bring you closer to a life that reflects your values, goals, and deepest aspirations. In Thinking Differently, Tools for Critical Thinking Analysis and Personal Development, we've explored practical steps to build a rational, resilient mind. From recognizing biases and questioning assumptions to balancing emotion with reason, each chapter has provided tools to help you think clearly and make intentional, empowering choices. By developing skills like seeing the big picture, evaluating evidence, and mastering decision-making, you're creating a mindset that supports thoughtful, purpose-driven living. This journey isn't about perfection. It's about growth, curiosity, and commitment to a life aligned with your values and goals. Thank you for taking the time to join us on this journey. If you found this content helpful, please like, comment, and subscribe to the channel for more insights. Your support means a lot, and we look forward to sharing more tools and strategies to help you live a fulfilling, thoughtful life.